I think for me, the biggest impact would be to not only share my voice, but to elevate others who have kind of come up with me or who have something important to say. Personally, I would love to write and star in a film, uh, something that I've written through a studio. I don't know, because then not only have I written the character, but I know it's interior. I think it's very important to me, characters like that. Yeah, I would love to write and star in my own film.
What do you value the most about traveling?
Oh God, there's so much I could say here. Experiences, people, places, but I think the most important thing for me when it comes to travel is it's opening up my mind a bit more. I think that every time you go someplace different, you can kind of see that everyone's somewhat similar. Even if you come from a different culture, speak a different language, have a different upbringing, we're all just people. Everyone wants to laugh and smile and have a good time, and that's universal. So I think traveling has not only opened my mind to that, but seeing people from all these different sort of walks of life have that same sort of familiarity makes it feel like you can be at home anywhere in the world.
Going off of that, do you have a favorite place or a favorite, maybe like region per se in the world that you've visited that feels like home? Maybe outside of like Belgium, you know what I mean? Like outside of that country.
For sure. I think for me, there's a small little chain of islands up in Norway called the Lofoten Islands. I had hitchhiked my way up there and sort of ended up staying in an old fishing cabin. And I got to surf in the Arctic Circle in Unstad. I have a framed photo in my room of this.
I've seen it, yeah.
And to me, it was peace. There's more sheep than people, and you can go out, surf, come back, have a cinnamon bun, sauna, and it felt very much like something in your soul that needed to be itched. I think up in the Lofoten is where I found more so of who I am than anywhere else in this world.
One person that you haven't traveled with before that you really, really want to go on a trip with. It can be a surfing trip, it can be anywhere, any time of the year, it doesn't matter. Who would that be? Anybody.
Well, see, I know deep down you're like, say me.
No. Exclude me.
I would love to travel with you, for sure. But someone new specifically. I think it'd be very fun to do something abroad with just my mom. I've never done a solo trip with my mom. I've done one with my dad.
Shout out, Mom.
So I think that would be really, really cool. I think another person that would be really fun to sort of travel with and kind of open up a new lens would be my friend Tommy as well. He and I both love surfing, and we've proposed a trip.
It's a fucking great day to surf.
No, exactly. We've sort of proposed an idea of starting in Alaska, buying a van together, and then working our way surfing down the coast all the way to Argentina. I think that'd be a really cool trip.
Different direction. I'm sure some people watching this know that you work at Warner Bros. So I'm curious, since you've started working there, or industry job specific, what has changed your view of the industry the most since working in the industry?
Yeah, I think the big one for me is always being focused on what you really want to do. Because it's very easy to get caught in the system. There's so much potential in so many different places that goes into making a film, where you can easily slip down any of the different pathways that goes into the filmmaking process. I think for me, after starting working at Warner Bros., the idea of creating stuff for myself and being continuous with it is the most important thing for me. I.e., where are my passions truly? And for me, that's acting, writing, and that's where I want to be, and that's where I will be. But it also gives you good insight into more than just what you know. I can say I've definitely learned a lot of new things. And it all just kind of stems from being somebody that can connect with everyone. We're all the same at the end of the day. We all bleed the same color, so everyone has something to say. Just being the person with two ears and one mouth is very helpful.
What is something that you are looking forward to in terms of the industry changing for us, for the world, just generalization?
I think for me, it's the fact that there's so many avenues open right now into sort of getting your voice out there. You can create your own show, small, but build your own audience. And with that, you can then go off and create bigger and better things. I think the world is becoming smaller in a way. And that's probably the most important thing for filmmaking. It's no longer something out there. It's very obtainable. All it starts with is a camera, an actor, and then from there, you can start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think the world getting smaller and having the opportunity to build something through social media, build something through YouTube, build something independently funded, you can build an audience now, something that you couldn't do years ago.
To riff off of that, how important is the theater experience to you, and how important is the theater experience to keep alive? And theater experience, I also want to preface that this can mean Broadway, this can mean ballet, this can mean opera, this can mean movies, any experience where you're going inside of a theater to watch something in person, live, with an audience.
Well, the theater's magic. We go through life, and film is beautiful because it's new worlds. You can show something very real, something very truthful in film, also something very imaginative, but there's something about theater and ballet where you're watching these people perform in the real time. That's watching dedication and discipline quite literally at the fingertips, and to me it's vital. I think all actors should definitely do theater. It not only makes you view acting, which is a craft, as a craft, but opens up a different part of yourself. Theater is here to stay, and I think it's without question the tails to the heads that is the coin of film.
I like that.
It's two separate entities, but in truth, it's the same. We're all storytellers, and we love listening to stories. Mediums in themselves, it doesn't matter what they are, a good story will always shine through. And I think in theater, there's so many good stories, so many good talents being cultivated there, that theater should be respected more than anything.
Do you think there's a vulnerability or a truth that maybe we're lacking in the films or shows or something that we watch? Do you think that, yeah, there's like a vulnerability or a truth that people are like dying to listen to or dying to watch?
No, nothing that comes to mind, really, because there's so much subjectivity in films. I think the vulnerability that we all crave comes through how we feel in the moment. For me, myself, on days where I'm feeling very happy and I want to watch something that's comfort, I'll turn on like a Seinfeld, a Family Guy, something simple like that, and I'll get that craving that I want. But if there's some times where I feel like I need to be more introspective, I want to listen to something, I'll turn on The Fountain, I'll watch Eden, I'll watch all these different things that spark some sort of debate in my mind that creates that sort of vulnerability that, mirrors how I feel. So in truth, there always will be. I don't think it's anything specific. I think it's based on how we feel and maybe what we aren't addressing ourselves. There's some things that, sometimes we keep hidden to ourselves. And by watching a film, we unlock it. We recognize something that maybe we didn't notice. And I think that's the beauty of film.
Shift the questions for a second. With the advancements of technology and AI and all these different things that are advancing very quickly, kind of month by month, year by year, how do you, as a parent, or sorry, should I say a future parent, see yourself trying to either hide or nurture the world that is enhancing so quickly by the time you are a father for your own children?
Creating what I want to say now, because then it's almost a photo book of what I was that I can then show my future kids. I think it's very important seeing, you look back at different decades and the art that came from them. It's very much a time capsule, and I think the best thing I could do now for my future kids is to create the truth for how I feel about myself in the world right now. So then when they get to my age, they can look back on this with awe and wonder and hopefully inspiration. Then they can create something that's true to them in their moment.
I think I've asked you this question personally before, but I just want the audience here to know it. If you had to pick one person, family, celebrity, alive or dead, who is the one person you always go back to for inspiration? I do have someone in mind, and it's actually somebody that I've been listening to a lot recently, but we'll get to that in a second. I'll let you answer the question.
I think that's a very tough one. I think life is a rotoscope of different interest. So I'd really have to tailor towards who I'd want. If it's cooking, I'm doing Bourdain.
That's who I was going to say.
But
That's who I was going to say.
if we're talking about writing, I think for me, probably Huston was probably really, really inspirational. And then for acting, Matthew McConaughey is someone I've always aspired to be like. More so be like myself, but he did something I really love, and that's sort of not be afraid to say no and do what feels right for you. And I think that's such a respectful decision in an industry where oftentimes you're doing something very similar towards what the world wants. But if you know deep down inside you can do something different, don't be afraid to say no. Eventually that opportunity will come where you can show the world exactly what you know about yourself that maybe they didn't know beforehand.
Do you think that there is a commonality between these three different inspirations? Or a difference?
Commonality. People that aren't afraid to be themselves.
I'm going to end this interview with a question. The last question. When you are driving home from work, or you're on the train, or you're in your room alone, or you're with your girlfriend, or you're with friends at the bar, do you feel like there's something spiritually calling out to you that you haven't answered to yet?
Something that looms in your mind. 100%. I think for me, it's always that sort of gray feeling you get when you know you want to be working, but you also want to be living. And I think spiritually for me, I always get ideas that typically tend to revolve around a dream, a thought, an idea. But I've also noticed that when I'm just living my life, the best ideas come. And spiritually, I think it's all for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And truthfully, the best work comes from those moments when you least expect it. I think for me, I've always been open to doing things that I don't want to do, doing things that I might not be excited to do, because most of the time, those are the opportunities where the best ideas, the best sort of feelings come from. That uncomfortable unknown where everything is different. Spiritually, I think the best calling is the call to continue to be yourself and build a body of work that you know is true to yourself. Spiritually, these moments when I'm on a train, when I'm alone, when I'm in a room and I'm quiet, I think those are the moments where I'm most often finding myself being inspired to write, to create, to be. And I think those are the moments where you can either numb yourself with your phone, you can do something else, but if you just listen to yourself and listen to what's inside, typically you'll find that something's calling for you. And most often than not, it's something that's trying to tell you, hey, you can do more. This is what you can do. And you just gotta listen to it.